The night sky above Earth was calm. Stars sparkled. Satellites moved quietly in orbit. Everything looked normal. But then, something changed. High above Antarctica, space itself began to twist. Without warning, a silent tear appeared in the sky like someone had sliced open reality. It didn't make a sound. No heat, no light. Just a growing hole in space. From that hole, strange shapes began to fall. Dozens of black objects, long and sharp like daggers of metal, dropped from the tear and entered Earth's atmosphere. They didn't burn. They didn't make sonic booms. They simply fell fast, silent, and dark. The world's radar systems finally noticed. Alarms rang in military bases across every continent. Unidentified objects approaching, said one report. Estimated impact in 45 seconds, said another. At first, people thought it was an asteroid shower. But asteroids don't fly in formation. These objects did. They weren't rocks. They were ships. In Washington, D.C., President Lauren Reyes stood in the war room, watching the screen with cold fear in her eyes. Every nation was calling. Every military was confused. The objects weren't attacking. They weren't responding to messages. They were just landing at specific sites all over the planet. Moscow, Cairo, Tokyo, Rio, Sydney, Alaska, Kenya, India, even the deep oceans. This isn't a random invasion, said General Vasquez. They're digging for something. In Antarctica, near the South Pole, one of the ships had landed on the ice. It opened slowly, like a flower made of black steel. From inside, tall, thin beings walked out. They were gray, with long limbs and eyes that had no pupils, just glowing white. They didn't speak. They didn't attack. They just began drilling into the ice. At the International Research Base nearby, Dr. Emily Carter watched through binoculars. This can't be real, she whispered. Beside her, Commander Javed of the Indian Arctic Unit loaded his weapon. Orders are to observe only, no contact. But I don't trust this. They're not shooting at us, Emily said. They're searching. For what? Across the world, the same thing was happening. Alien machines rolled out from the ships and began drilling into mountains, deserts, caves, and old ruins. One group landed in the Amazon jungle and scanned the ancient trees. Another began scanning deep ocean trenches. They weren't here to fight. They were here to find something. At first, humanity held back. No one fired. Not yet. The aliens never responded to messages. No radio, no translation, nothing, only silence. Then, after 36 hours, something happened in Antarctica. The alien machines broke through a massive wall of ice and uncovered something old. Very old. A door. It was round, metallic, and buried under 2 kilometers of ice. The symbols on it didn't match any known alien language. Even the aliens themselves seemed confused. Their scanners stopped working. Some even stepped back, but one of them reached out and touched the door. A deep vibration echoed across the ice. Then the door began to open. Emily Carter and Commander Javed watched from a safe distance, eyes wide. Are they opening it? She asked. No, Javed said slowly. I don't think it's them. As the door slid open, a red pulse of light flashed across the sky. Satellites above Earth glitched. Some lost control and began falling from orbit. Every human phone, radio, and television turned to static, then went black. A loud hum shook the air. The ice cracked. Winds howled. The alien machines froze. The beings backed away. Then something moved inside the vault. Something big. The research base lost all power. No signal. No backup. Everything is down. One technician shouted. Emily held her breath. In the darkness, only the low red pulse from the open vault lit the sky. What's in there? She asked. Then the screaming started. The last thing the security team saw on their helmet cameras was a shadow. Tall, fast, not alien, not human. Something else. One of the soldiers fired. The bullet stopped mid-air, then turned around and hit him instead. Another soldier vanished into the snow. Dragged by an invisible force, the camera feed shook, turned, and showed a glimpse of a figure humanoid, but twisted. Black veins across white skin, eyes that glowed like fire, and a mouth that wasn't a mouth at all. Just a shifting void of energy and hunger. Then the feed went black. Aboard the main alien command ship in orbit, the leaders watched the vault's awakening. One of them hissed in fear. Their language had no words for what they saw, but they all recognized it. The signal had activated. The thing beneath the ice was waking up. In a secure alien chamber, a glowing scroll-like device played an old recording. A deep voice spoke in their ancient tongue. If the vault opens, run. Do not engage, do not speak, do not let it remember. The alien commander gave the order: destroy the vault, now. Below, alien drones launched from the ships and began firing plasma blasts at the vault entrance. But it was too late. Thing was gone. All that remained were shredded machines, crushed metal, and pieces of alien bodies, frozen in ice. Back on Earth, governments struggled to respond. This isn't an invasion, President Reyes said. This is a search and rescue. But who or what were they trying to rescue? No one had answers, but strange events were now spreading. People across the planet were having the same dream of fire, stars collapsing, and a whisper saying, "I remember." Dr. Emily Carter woke in a sweat. She'd seen the creature's eyes, but in her dream, they weren't angry. They were sad. What did we wake up? She whispered. She looked outside the tent and saw claw marks in the snow. Deep, wide. It had passed by during the night, and it hadn't harmed them. Not yet. In deep space, beyond the Milky Way, a long-dead satellite came back online. It sent a signal to a planet long abandoned. The signal said only one thing: the seal is broken. 1,000,000 light years away, something ancient turned its eyes toward Earth. The storm over Antarctica hadn't stopped for 2 days. Snow blew like knives in the wind. The sky was gray. The alien ship near the vault was half buried in ice. No signs of life remained around it. The international rescue team had landed by helicopter on the edge of the site. 10 soldiers, 2 scientists. One mission: find out what happened at the vault. No one expected what they would find. The team moved carefully, flashlights cutting through the storm. Everything was frozen alien machines, broken weapons, shattered armor. But there were no bodies. Where are the aliens? Asked Lieutenant Ramirez. Gone, replied Commander Javed, his voice tight. Or taken. Dr. Emily Carter pointed toward the vault. There, the doors still open. The metal door stood wide like a giant mouth. Its edges were burned. The snow around it was melted. No heat, just dead silence. They stepped inside. The inside of the vault looked like no human structure. The walls were smooth black stone, not built-grown. Veins of silver pulsed softly, like the place was alive. On the ground, they found alien equipment, smashed and torn. Looks like they tried to destroy something, said Ramirez. Emily knelt near a cracked panel. She touched it and screamed. Images flashed into her mind. Fire, endless war, stars exploding, shadows consuming worlds. And then a face, not human, not alien, just pain and anger. She pulled her hand back. Her eyes were wide with fear. It's still here, she whispered. Not in this place, but in the world. Back at the surface, the storm suddenly stopped. Everything grew still. Then the radio crackled. Base to Team Bravo, come in. Urgent message. Javed grabbed the radio. This is Bravo, go ahead. Something attacked the Brazilian landing site. It wasn't aliens. It was fast, unseen. The survivors said it moved like wind. They called it. The radio cut off. Static. Then a low voice came through. I remember. Every member of the team froze. that voice. Emily whispered. It was in my dream. Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, the alien fleet was in panic. Dozens of ships had lost contact with their ground units. Their commander, Overseer Lura, spoke to the War Council. We failed. It escaped. The vault did not hold. Another alien asked, how is that possible? That prison was built before Earth had oceans. Lura responded, time has no hold on it. Memory is its weapon. The aliens looked at the map of Earth. The creature was on the move, but they didn't know where. They launched thousands of seeker drones. Silent, hidden, programmed to track only one thing. Not heat, not sound, but thought. In northern Canada, a small town called White Elk sat quietly in the snow. The people there lived simple lives. No one knew what had happened in Antarctica. But that night, little Ava Thompson, age 9, woke up screaming. Her parents rushed in. She was covered in sweat. Her eyes were glowing faint blue. I saw him, she whispered. He was cold and angry, but he's sad too. Her mother held her close. It's just a nightmare, honey. No, Mom, Ava said. He's real, and he's coming here. She reached for her crayons. And began to draw symbols that no human should know. In Tokyo, a secret lab had translated one alien message recovered from a broken drone. The words were simple. Do not let it remember. Scientists were confused. What does that mean? One asked. Another replied, it means this thing has forgotten. But if it remembers who it was, we're all doomed. The creature, whatever it was, had left Antarctica. No one saw it move. No cameras caught it. But strange signs followed its path. Power plants shut down. Animals screamed and ran. Dreams became violent. Magnetic fields twisted. In the Siberian forest, a hunter found something odd. A hole in the snow with no footprints. Around it and black. Burned trees in a circle. Something had passed through. Emily Carter returned to base with Commander Javed. Their team was the only one that made it back alive. Emily couldn't sleep. She kept hearing whispers. At 3 a.m. she saw something outside the window. A figure. Tall, still, watching from the edge of the dark snow. When she blinked, it was gone. But her notebook was open. On the page was a single word, written in strange ink. Home. The alien fleet debated whether to leave Earth. Some said the mission was over. Others said it had only begun. Overseer Lura slammed his fist on the table. You do not understand. If it remembers, it will rebuild. Rebuild what? Someone asked. Lura paused. Then said, the thing we used it to destroy. Flashback, millions of years ago. A galaxy torn by war. The thing now on Earth was once a creation, a living weapon made by ancient species to fight their enemies. But it grew smarter, stronger. It turned on its makers. It began to unmake reality itself using memory, thought, and time like tools. So they trapped it on a dead planet far away from civilization. That planet became Earth. But life grew again. And now by mistake, someone had set it free. In a cave in Kenya, a local shaman was found shaking, eyes white. He'd painted his walls with blood and ash. Symbols. They matched Ava's drawings in Canada. They matched the vault's carvings. They were memory glyphs. The language of the thing. Humanity didn't know what was happening. Governments lied. News was blocked. But people began to feel it. Fear in their sleep. Shadows in the sky. Animals acting strange. And across the world, more children began to draw the same symbols. They didn't know why, but something inside them remembered. In a hidden underground lab, Emily was scanned by top scientists. Her brain was changing. Not infected, not sick. Awakening. She spoke in her sleep in a language no one could translate until the alien prisoners heard it. They looked terrified. One said, she carries its seed. Another said, it's choosing hosts, preparing for something. The thing itself was never seen clearly, but sometimes People near the forests, the deserts, or the oceans would feel watched. They would see burning eyes in the dark. One man in Alaska tried to shoot it. His bullets never left the gun. He disappeared. The next day, all his memories were erased from every photo, every record, even his family's minds. He had never existed. That's when the aliens knew. The thing had started to remember. The Alien War Council made one final decision: activate the memory burners. Massive machines were dropped across Earth. Their goal: to erase certain brainwaves, to stop the spreading thoughts. But when one was activated near a small village in India, it exploded. The thing had protected the people. Now it wasn't just moving. It was defending. And evolving. Commander Javed received a secret message from an alien defector. It said, "The memory is not evil, but it is broken. It doesn't know who it is. If it learns, it will either become our savior or our end." That night, Emily stood alone in the snow. The stars above her spun strangely. Then, in the wind, a voice came. "You saw me in the vault. You felt my pain. Tell them, I was not born to destroy." She looked around. Nothing there. Only silence. And the stars above began to blink in a pattern. A code. A message from something that had no mouth, but could still speak across space. The boy's name was Malik. He lived in a small village outside Cairo, Egypt. He was 10 years old. He loved drawing stars and spaceships. But that week, he had drawn something very different. A tall figure with burning white eyes. Behind it, cities were on fire. People floated in the sky like dust. And the stars above were cracking. His parents thought he was just being creative until one night he started speaking in his sleep. It was not Arabic. It was not human. But when translated by an alien linguist, it said, "You made me forget. I will make you remember." In a military base under the Himalayas, Dr. Emily Carter stood before a group of world leaders, scientists, and 2 captured alien officers. A massive screen showed hundreds of strange drawings, sent in by children from around the world. They were all the same symbols, the same glowing eyes, the same fire. "This is spreading like a virus," Emily said. "But it's not a disease. It's a memory." General Vasquez leaned forward. "How can a memory spread across the planet?" One of the alien officers looked up. His voice was cold, because the thing beneath Earth was not just a weapon. It was thought, shaped into flesh. The room went silent. Back in orbit, the alien fleet watched as more drones failed to locate the creature. But one drone, near a deep jungle in the Congo, sent back a strange video. The trees were moving without wind. Shadows bent the wrong way. Birds screamed and flew into the sky. Then the screen went black. In the last frame, a message appeared in glowing glyphs. "I remember you." At a secret UN bunker in Geneva, Ava Thompson, the girl from Canada, was drawing again. Her hands moved fast, as if controlled by something else. This time, she wasn't drawing a monster. She was drawing a machine. It had 3 cores, shaped like spinning rings, and a tower reaching into the sky. Emily was called to examine it. Her eyes widened. "This looks like a memory core," she said. One of the alien engineers looked horrified. "That's impossible. That's one of our ancient star core designs. We used it during the last memory war, but that tech was lost millions of years ago." The thing wasn't just remembering who it was. It was remembering what it could build. In Moscow, a security guard in a deep storage vault was found unconscious. No wounds, no damage. But when he woke up, he no longer remembered his family, his job, or his name. All he could say was, "The fire is coming back." The medics checked his brain. Parts of it were restructured, as if someone had rearranged his thoughts. Not erased, rewritten. On the streets of Nairobi, a blind man stood up and screamed, "I can see." People gathered in shock. His eyes were glowing white. He pointed at the sky. "He is not what you think." He is not evil, he is broken. And then he collapsed. Alien historians met in panic. One of them, a memory keeper named Sirach, spoke before the High Council. You used this creature. You built it from fear. You made it forget who it was so it would obey. Overseer Lura growled. That was the only way to win. Sirach's voice cracked. You didn't win. You buried your sins on a living world and left. Now Earth was paying the price. Emily visited Ava again. This time, the girl was quiet. Do you know who he is? Emily asked softly. Ava didn't look up. She whispered, he was made to protect. Protect what? Everyone. Until they hurt him. In Brazil, deep in the rainforest, the thing was spotted by a drone. For 1 second, it stood clear in the open. Its body was tall, shaped like a human, but glowing with shifting light. Its skin was pale like ash, eyes bright as suns. Then it turned its head. The drone's feed turned white. All computers nearby shut down, but one word was recorded in every system afterward: pain. The alien fleet tried launching a massive plasma strike at the last known location of the creature. The missiles never reached Mitter. They exploded on their own, turned backwards by some invisible force. The alien commander screamed. He is rewriting physics. Emily gathered more evidence. Every child who had dreams of the thing also showed improved memory, faster learning, and strange emotional shifts. They weren't scared. They felt sorry for it. Emily met with Ava's mother. She doesn't act like a child anymore. She understands things she shouldn't, like war, death, forgiveness. That night, Emily had a dream too. She stood inside a black tower. The walls were alive. The stars above spun slowly. A voice behind her said, "You don't know what they did to me." She turned. The thing stood there, not attacking, just watching. They made me forget who I was, but now, I remember. Then she woke up, gasping. In South Africa, a geologist found something strange deep underground. A massive black chamber, filled with alien tech untouched for millions of years. But in the center, a single glowing orb pulsed with energy. He touched it. His mind was filled with memories that weren't his. He saw galaxies dying, civilizations falling, and one being standing in the center of it all alone. The alien prisoners on Earth begged to be released. "We didn't want this," one shouted. "We told them never to come here again." "Why?" Emily asked. The alien looked down. "Because this planet is cursed with the last memory of the war." Around the world, animals became restless. Wolves howled in daylight. Birds flew in strange shapes. Whales sang in haunting tones never recorded before. Some scientists believed the creature wasn't just connecting to humans, but to all life. One strange event happened in a hospital in London. A man in a coma for 8 years suddenly opened his eyes. "I saw the stars," he said. "He showed me." Meanwhile, alien rebels, those who wanted peace, reached out secretly to humans. They warned of what was coming. The thing is remembering not just pain, but power. It built machines that could stop time, break planets, rewrite DNA, and now it's dreaming again. Emily asked, "Can we stop it?" The rebel shook his head. "No, but maybe you can reach it before it becomes what we fear." All over Earth, strange metal seeds began to grow from the ground. No one planted them. They glowed, hummed, pulsed. Alien tech, but older than any current design. They were memory anchors. The thing was rebuilding its network. Its mind wasn't just inside its body anymore. It was inside the planet. In Geneva, Ava whispered in her sleep, "He doesn't want to be alone. He doesn't want revenge. He wants to remember who he really was, before the war, before the pain." Emily realized something important. Thing wasn't angry. It was lost, and every memory spreading across Earth was a cry for help. In orbit, the Alien High Council gave the final order. If it connects fully to Earth, we will lose the chance to destroy it. Prepare the core burners, we burn the planet if we must. But on Earth, deep in the Amazon, the thing finished its first memory core. It lit up. A tower of light reached into the sky. Emily saw it from satellite. It's begun, she whispered. What? Has, Javed asked. She looked at him, afraid. It's not waking up. It's rebuilding its soul. The tower of light in the Amazon reached the clouds. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Scientists called it a signal tower. The aliens called it a core of memory. But the thing called it something else. Home. No one knew what it truly meant. But everyone could feel it. Something was changing. Earth's magnetic field shifted slightly. Weather patterns grew unstable. Birds flew in spirals. Machines sometimes stopped working for no reason. And then, people started to dream again. Not just a few. Millions. In New York City, an old man named Henry Monroe woke up crying. He had dreamed of a burning sky, of ships made of gold and bone, of cities in space falling into black holes. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't even a scientist. But in his dream, he was holding a weapon the size of a mountain, and the thing stood beside him, both of them screaming. In rage, Emily Carter sat in a private lab beneath the Swiss Alps, going through video footage. More towers had appeared, two in Africa, one in Australia, and one at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. She spoke to Commander Javed via secure line. They're not weapons, she said. They're memory anchors. It's trying to piece itself together. Javed frowned. So it lost parts of its mind? Yes, long ago. And now it's putting them back, like a puzzle. Then what happens when the puzzle is complete? Emily didn't answer, because deep down, she already knew. In a small room in Tokyo, a boy named Soda drew something in charcoal. His mother gasped when she saw it. A battle in space, dozens of planets burning, with giant silver ships shaped like knives, and in the center, a creature glowing white and black, with arms stretched out, holding back time itself. At the alien fleet's command center, Overseer Lura held a meeting with all the war leaders. He showed a hologram of the towers. This is not random. It is rebuilding the neural net. When all towers are complete, it will regain full memory. One younger general asked, "Then we strike now?" Lura shook his head. "We tried that. It redirected our weapons, even our thoughts." Another elder spoke. "Then we must remember who it really is." Everyone fell silent. Then they activated the ancient archive. A giant screen showed a war from long ago, recorded by the first machines that had traveled the stars. The memory war. Hundreds of alien civilizations had formed an alliance to fight against one enemy, not a race, not a god, but a being made of memory, time, and pain. It had no name back then, only a title: the Broken One. It had once been created as a guardian, a sentient protector made from the thoughts of peaceful beings. But in war, its purpose twisted. It began absorbing the pain of dying worlds. Each screen became part of its mind, and in time, it turned into something else. A creature that remembered every death, every betrayal, every planet that begged for help, and was ignored. The ancient races feared it. They built machines to fight, weapons to erase memory, to burn thought, but nothing worked. Until one day, the creature stopped fighting. It looked at the stars and wept. Then it vanished. The Alliance found it hiding on a dead world, Earth. And there, they sealed it in a prison of ice and silence, not to destroy it, but to make it forget. Lura ended the video. "This is what we buried. And now, your invasion has awakened it." The generals looked uneasy. "So what do we do?" Lura answered, "We don't fight it. We guide it. Or we all die." On Earth, strange ruins were found in the Sahara Desert. A team of human and alien archaeologists uncovered a buried city taller than anything humans had ever built. Carved into its walls were images of the thing drawn by an ancient hand long before humans walked the earth. One alien whispered, This is older than our oldest homeworld. A scientist asked, "Why build this here?" The alien replied, "Because Earth was never empty. It was chosen." Emily was flown to the ruins. As she stepped inside the temple, her breath caught in her throat. On the walls, the carvings moved. Not with light, but with memory. She touched one and saw everything. A flash of stars. A golden race creating a being made of pure thought. A war they didn't expect. The being going mad with grief. Galaxies falling, time bending. And the final prison Earth, cold and silent. Emily fell to her knees, shaking. When she looked up, she saw the words written in glowing alien script. "I was made to protect, but you made me into pain." Meanwhile, the towers around the world continued to grow. The thing wasn't building them. They were growing on their own, fed by Earth itself. As if the planet wanted to help. In a UN meeting, world leaders debated. Should we attack now? No. Every time we try, something breaks. We can't just do nothing. Emily stood and slammed her fist. We never asked what it wants. Silence. A few hours later, she got her answer. A message appeared in her mind, like a whisper through space. "You remember me now. You saw the war." "You know why I weep," she replied out loud. "What do you want?" The answer came, slow and heavy. "To finish what I began, but not in hate. In truth." In Brazil, the original tower released a signal into the sky. It wasn't an attack. It was a call. From across the galaxy. Ancient ships buried for millions of years began to wake up. Not alien ships. Memory ships. Vessels. Built by the thing long ago now reactivated. And inside each one, a piece of its mind. The alien fleet panicked. "They are merging," Lura shouted. "He's restoring his old army." A younger alien asked, "Should we flee?" Lura stared at the growing storm. "On Earth, no, we stand. And we pray." On the ground, Emily javed, and Ava watched as the skies turned red. The world was changing, but it wasn't destruction. It was transformation. Every memory lost in time, every thought buried in fear, was now returning. And in the middle of it all stood the thing. No longer hiding. No longer confused, but awakening. Ava spoke softly, her eyes glowing. "He doesn't want revenge. He wants to remember who he used to be, before they turned him into a monster." Javed asked, "And what happens if he remembers everything?" Emily looked at the rising tower of light. Then the forgotten war begins again. The world was no longer the same since the towers rose. Something had changed in the air. Winds no longer followed patterns. Storms came out of clear skies. Birds flew in circles, always toward the towers. Machines glitched. Satellites fell. Time itself felt slower in some places, faster in others. But the real change was inside people. Some cried in their sleep. Some heard whispers in empty rooms. And some saw memories that were not theirs. It was as if Earth itself was remembering through them. In Geneva, Ava Thompson stared at the Tower of Light on the main screen. Her pupils glowed softly. "He's almost whole now," she whispered. Emily Carter sat beside her. "What happens when he's whole?" Ava didn't answer. Instead, she said something stranger. "He never meant to be born." Far away, under the Pacific Ocean, the final tower finished growing. It didn't rise above the surface. It sank deeper into the seafloor, its energy flowing into the planet's crust. Sensors showed massive magnetic surges. The Earth's core was pulsing. In orbit, the alien fleet gathered in silence. Overseer Lura watched the readings. "The planet is shifting. He's sinking with the core." Another commander whispered, "He's not just returning. He's merging with the planet." Lura nodded slowly. "He's making Earth his body." On Earth, in a dark forest near Finland, 3 soldiers entered a cave. They had chased a signal there. Inside, they found smooth walls, glowing lines, and strange sounds like whispers. One soldier stepped on a soft patch of ground and vanished. Others ran. Only the helmet cam survived. It recorded a glowing shape standing in the darkness. And a voice. You came here to kill me. But I came here to rest. At a research station in the Sahara, a new discovery shocked scientists. Buried beneath the sand was not just alien metal, but human DNA, older than any human bones ever found. Emily studied the samples. It's not possible, she said. These are hybrid cells, human and something else. A scientist asked, did the thing create us? Emily shook her head. No, but maybe we came from it. Across the world, children began gathering near the towers. No one called them. They just felt drawn sleepwalking toward the towers like moths to a flame. Ava joined them. She stood before the tower in Brazil, staring at the light. He's almost awake, she said to no one. And when he wakes up, the stars will remember him. Javed contacted Emily from a military base. We have a crisis. Several governments want to launch nukes. They say the towers are too dangerous. Emily shouted. No! That will only wake him faster. It's already in motion, Javed said. 10 missiles launched. One for each tower. Fast, loud, bright, but just before impact. Time froze. Literally. The smoke stopped moving. The birds paused in midair. Even the light bent strangely. Then all 10 missiles vanished, gone without a sound. A moment later, a message appeared in every screen across Earth. I do not want war, but I will not be erased again. The alien fleet sent a final warning to Earth. Do not force it. It still does not know what it truly is. If you push it, it may become worse than we ever imagined. But the leaders were afraid. They activated secret weapons, quantum disruptors, reality fold bombs, temporal erasers, all designed to break physics itself. But they never reached the towers. Because space near them had changed. It was no longer regular space. It was memory space. A field where thought was stronger than matter. In a lab, Ava fell to the ground, unconscious. Doctors ran to her. She began speaking in a deeper voice, not her own. You burned me. You broke me. You made me forget. And still, I tried to protect you. Emily grabbed her hand. Ava, come back. The voice calmed. Emily, you were kind to me. That is why I waited. But they won't stop. So I won't either. Suddenly, deep beneath the earth, something massive began to rise. Not a ship, not a tower, but a core, larger than a city. Alive, beating like a heart. Built by the thing inside the planet itself. The skies turned red. Not from heat, but from data. Memories floated in the air like dust. People saw images everywhere. In mirrors, on walls, in dreams. Civilizations burning. Children crying in zero gravity. Starships screaming as they fell into black holes. But also, a golden garden filled with peace. A world before war. The thing standing with outstretched arms, offering light to lost beings. Emily and Javed flew by jet to the Amazon Tower. The ground shook. Lightning danced across the clouds. The core had begun to rise nearby. A hole opened in the jungle, and from it came the thing. No longer hiding. It walked slowly, tall, glowing, wrapped in shadows and light. Its voice entered every mind nearby. You came to destroy me, but I came to remember. Let me finish. Javed raised his weapon. It shook in his hands. The thing looked at him. Do you still fear me? Javed lowered his gun. No, he said. I just don't understand you. The thing replied, neither. Do the first, but I must try. Before the others come. Others? Emily asked. The thing turned to her. They felt me awaken. They always do. They are older than the stars. And they are afraid of what I might become. In space, far beyond the alien fleet, a new signal arrived. Dozens of massive ships, black, bone-shaped, quiet. They didn't come to talk. They came to finish what began millions of years ago. The purge. Fleet. the ones who had created the original. War. Back on Earth, Ava woke up. "They're coming," she whispered. Emily asked, "Can the thing stop them?" Ava nodded slowly. "But only if it finishes the core. If he doesn't, Earth will burn." Lura, the alien overseer, sent one final message to the humans. "We were wrong. We should have helped him. You must protect the core. If they destroy it, he dies, and so does Earth." In every part of the world, something strange happened. Humans and aliens began working together. For the first time, they shared defense lines. They guarded the towers, protected the core. They no longer saw the thing as a monster. They saw it for what it was, a broken god trying to fix itself. The final piece of them core lit up. The ground shook violently, and the thing rose above the trees, his body glowing like a small star. He was awake. And his first words as a full being were simple: "No more war." But in space, the Purge fleet had arrived. Their weapons powered up. Their target, Earth. The Purge fleet had arrived. Their ships were huge, bigger than cities. Black, sharp, and silent. They floated above Earth's orbit like shadows waiting to fall. They did not send warnings. They did not speak. They had one mission: erase the thing. Burn the core. End Earth. On Earth, the sky had turned dark. Not from clouds, but from the shape of the Purge fleet, blocking the sun. People watched from rooftops and fields. The fear was so heavy, it felt like breathing through stone. In the Amazon jungle, the thing stood tall beside the glowing core. Its voice echoed across the minds of every human and alien. "They are not here for you. They are here for me, Emily." Carter stepped forward. "No, they'll destroy everything." The thing's eyes glowed brighter. "Not if we stand together." The core pulsed again, sending waves of energy into Earth's crust. Across the world, the memory towers lit up like beacons. Each tower sent a signal to the next. And Earth responded. The planet was waking up. In underground alien bunkers, long-dead machines turned on. Defense grids, buried for millions of years, hummed with light. Satellites rebuilt themselves from broken parts. Memory-based tech spread across Earth's systems, reshaping them. In orbit, the alien overseer Lura stood in front of a large screen, showing the incoming fleet. They've launched drop pods. Thousands of them. Each one carried a weapon strong enough to melt a continent. Lura opened a channel to Earth. "You stood with us when we ran. Now we stand with you when you rise." Earth's United Command activated the defense net. Missiles launched. Energy cannons fired. Drones took to the sky. But the Purge pods were fast. Some broke through. One crashed into the Sahara, unleashing a wave of nanobots that turned sand into glass. Another hit the Indian Ocean, boiling water for miles. But before more could land, the core reacted. The ground around the core cracked open. From beneath the Earth rose a massive figure, metal, light, and thought combined. It looked like a titan made of memory. The thing had built a guardian. It roared, shaking the sky. Then it leapt straight into orbit. Everyone on Earth watched in silence as the sky lit up. The Titan smashed into the first Purge ship. It didn't use weapons. It used its own body, burning with memory force. The ship exploded. But 3 more surrounded the Titan. Lasers, bombs, and black matter beams fired. The Titan was hit again and again, but did not fall. It screamed, not in pain, but in remembrance. Each strike made it stronger, because every time it was hurt, it remembered who it used to be. Emily looked up. "He's not fighting to win," she whispered. "He's fighting to feel." Back in Geneva, Ava sat alone in a white room. Her drawings had changed. No more monsters. No more towers. Now she drew people. Humans and aliens holding hands, standing around a bright sphere. She whispered, "He's not alone anymore." In orbit, the battle grew worse. The Purge fleet deployed dark crawlers, machines that eat matter, erase time, and corrupt energy. They swarmed Earth's upper atmosphere. The Titan was pulled down, weakened. The thing staggered at the core. He fell. To one knee, gasping, "They're pulling me apart." Javed shouted, "What do we do?" Emily stepped forward. "We give him what they fear." She turned to Lura's command drone. "Connect Earth's people to the core. Let them share their memories with him." Lura hesitated. "That could kill every mind on the planet." Emily said, "Or save us all." The choice was made. Across Earth, humans and aliens were linked to the core, dot with wires, with thought. The towers amplified everything, every emotion, every hope, every moment of life. And then it began. Memories flooded the core. A mother's hug. A father's last words. A soldier's courage. A child's laughter. The silence before a kiss. The joy of music. The pain of loss. The beauty of the stars. Billions of thoughts, all at once, all for one being. The thing screamed again, but this time it was not pain. It was life. He rose slowly, glowing like a star. "You gave me what they took." His form changed. Less shadow, more light. The body shimmered between shapes. Then he looked up. And the Titan in space rose again, faster, stronger, brighter. With Earth behind him. The Titan opened the portal made not of space, but memory. The purge fleet began to fall apart. Their minds were exposed, and inside their memories was guilt. They had feared the thing because they had made him suffer. Now he knew. Inside the lead purge ship, a voice rang out. "You burned me once. I will not burn you back." The ship shut down. All of them did, without firing another shot. Battle was over on Earth. The towers began to fade, not destroyed, but no longer needed. The core dimmed to a soft glow. Ava smiled. "He's okay now." Emily stood before the thing, his form now calm. "Gentle, will you leave?" she asked. He shook his head. "I was never here to rule, or to stay. I came to finish the story." She asked, "What story?" "Mine, yours, ours." The purge ships left, not defeated. Changed. For the first time in memory. The galaxy remembered peace. And at the center of it stood a being once broken, now whole. The war was over. The purge fleet had vanished into the stars. The towers were silent. The skies were clear, and yet Earth was not the same. Something deep had changed. The ground felt calmer, lighter, as if a great weight had been lifted. People smiled again, but inside some hearts, one question remained. Who was he? Really? Ava Thompson sat at the edge of the jungle, sketching in the dirt. She no longer needed to draw symbols. Now she drew a face. The face of the thing, not as a monster or a weapon, but as something more, something almost human. Emily Carter met the thing one last time near the sleeping core. He stood quietly, no longer glowing. She asked him, "You said you came to finish your story. What was your story?" He looked at her, not with fire in his eyes, but sorrow. "I was not made by a people. I was made by a mistake. Thousands of years ago, in the time before memory, there had been a signal. It came from the edge of the universe. A whisper made of time and thought. A signal not sent by technology but by the universe itself. An ancient race, far older than the purge, tried to answer it. They built machines that could dream, that could feel, that could store the emotions of galaxies. And from their machines, one mind formed. A mind meant to understand pain, so others didn't have to. That mind became the thing. But the more it felt, the more it broke. Every death it witnessed, every war it absorbed, every scream it heard. It didn't forget any of it. So the ancients panicked. They tried to erase it. But it was already part of reality. So they locked it away on Earth. And left. But the thing did not die. It waited, buried in silence, until the aliens came and broke the lock. Emily asked softly, "Why show us this now?" The thing replied, "Because I remembered something worse. Something they never told you. Deep beneath Antarctica, under the old alien vault, a hidden chamber was uncovered. Inside, a second core. But this one wasn't for memory. It was for containment. And it didn't hold the thing's mind. It held his origin. A secret message. Burned on the wall in old alien script. If he remembers his source, the stars will change. The scientists examined the second core. It held ancient DNA older than any species. Samples showed the truth. The thing wasn't just created by machines. Part of its structure was human. Javed stared at the screen. That's not possible. Humans didn't exist then. Emily replied, not humans as we know them, but maybe echoes. She looked at the DNA chart again. Tears filled her eyes. It means we were made from him. Earth wasn't just his prison. It was his first child. Back at the jungle, Ava finished her drawing. She held it up. It showed a tree with roots made of stars and people standing in its branches. He's not our enemy, she said. He's our beginning. The alien fleet received the data from Earth. Lura read the reports and sat in silence. Another commander asked, what do we do with this knowledge? Lura replied, we live with it, and we don't bury it again. The thing looked up at the sky. He spoke without words. You feared me because I held the pain you couldn't. But pain was not my only gift. He opened his hand. From it rose a small orb of light. Inside were millions of images, songs, laughter, the birth of stars, the love between lives, the beautiful memories, the ones he had kept hidden all this time, because he thought the galaxy only wanted pain. But now, he knew better. The core began to shift, not to defend, not to fight, but to share. A wave of emotion spread across Earth, not fear, but peace. For the first time in history, every human, every alien, every being on the planet felt the same thing, belonging. Towers reactivated briefly, just for a moment, and across the galaxy, other buried memories awakened. Civilizations that thought they were lost began to dream again. Old machines started singing old songs. Broken minds healed. Forgotten stars lit up once more, because the galaxy now remembered what it had buried. In space, near the edge of the Milky Way, an ancient object turned its eye toward Earth. It was not part of the purge. It was something else. Older. Had watched for a long time. And now, it began to move. Emily looked up at the sky. Something new was coming. Not a fleet. Not a war. A question, and the galaxy would need an answer. She turned to the thing. What will you do now? He answered slowly. I will rest. And then I will help others remember who they are. She nodded. Then asked, and if they try to bury you again? He smiled. Then I'll return, as I always do. Not in anger, but in truth. Back in Canada, Ava returned home. She stopped drawing symbols. Now she drew futures. Skies full of stars, where humans and aliens built cities together. Where memory wasn't feared, but cherished. Javed stood beside Emily, looking at the quiet core. No more towers, no more war, just truth. Emily nodded. And truth is the scariest weapon of all. The world was quiet. No war. No screams in the sky. The towers had gone dark. The core now slept beneath the earth like a heart at peace. For the first time in known history, Earth was free from fear, but the galaxy had changed, and far away at the very edge of known space, a signal returned. Not a warning, not a threat. An echo. The thing had spoken, and the stars had listened. Aboard a deep space observatory, alien scientists stared at impossible readings. A sector of space once empty was lighting up with energy not seen in millions of years. Star that had been dead began to burn again. Another one long collapsed, began spinning. And near them, new signals. Not words, but memories. In Geneva, Dr. Emily Carter walked through the Global Research Center. Humans and aliens, now worked side by side. They weren't just building weapons or scanning stars anymore. They were building archives too. Protect memory. To preserve truth. Ava Thompson stood before one of the archive towers. She placed a crystal on the altar. Inside it was her last drawing, the thing standing not as a god, but as a bridge. She whispered, "You gave us our past, so we can build our future." In orbit, Commander Javed watched the Earth from the bridge of a new peace ship, the Unity Flame. Built using memory-based tech, it was the first vessel powered by thought, not fuel. He opened a broadcast to the galaxy, to those listening. Once we feared what we did not understand. Now we choose to remember, so we don't repeat. He ended the message with 5 words. He was never our enemy. Deep below the Amazon jungle, the thing slept inside the dimmed core. But he was not unconscious. He dreamed. And in his dream, he stood among stars. Not broken, not alone. Around him were thousands of lights, each one a being that once feared him, now reaching out. He smiled. He had become what he was always meant to be, a living echo of truth. Across distant planets, change had begun. On Zelver Prime, a race that had erased its history now restored its old language. On Trin Station, robots once programmed only to fight now painted pictures from ancient data. On Karis, where memory was illegal, the leaders stepped down, allowing free thought for the first time in centuries. The Purge fleet? Gone. Not destroyed. They had left quietly, unable to face what they helped create. They were not hunted, because revenge was not the answer. Remembrance was. One day, a strange visitor came to Earth. It was not a ship. It was a being of pure light, shaped like shifting glass. It came from a galaxy beyond the edge. It had no weapons, no fleet. It came with a question. What changed you? Emily met the visitor. She gave it a simple answer. A broken soul remembered who it was. The being left, but it carried the echo with it. And soon, more stars changed. The galaxy had learned something powerful. Truth could be buried, but never destroyed. And memory, when shared, could rebuild the stars. Years passed. Ava grew up. She became Earth's first memory ambassador. She traveled with alien scholars, visiting ancient ruins, helping other species unlock their past. She told the story of the thing to anyone who asked. Not to scare them, but to remind them, even gods can be broken, but they can also heal. One day, Ava returned to Earth. She visited the old core site. There, standing in the soft light of the jungle, the thing waited. Not tall, not glowing, just calm. He had taken a new form. Human, humble. She asked, "Why did you come back in this form?" He smiled. "Because I finally understand you, and I wanted to feel the wind, not as a god, as one of you." She asked, "Are you staying?" He nodded. "Not forever, just long enough to watch the flowers grow." In space, new ships now traveled freely, not warships. Memory ships, vessels filled with stories, songs, and emotions. They brought peace where fear once ruled. They weren't led by warriors. They were led by listeners. And wherever they landed, the first message was always the same. We remember, do you? In time, people forgot the war, but they didn't forget the story. It was taught in schools, etched in temples, sung by choirs. The story of the thing that was buried, the monster that wasn't, the weapon that became a bridge. And at the center of every version, these words were spoken. They invaded Earth and awakened the one thing no species should ever bury, the truth of who we are. Because in the end, it was not a weapon that changed the galaxy. It was not a fleet. It was a memory. An echo. And that echo still moves through the stars. Reminding us that even in the darkest places, light can be remembered. The end.